Are you thinking of moving to San Antonio, Texas? Well, in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the top 5 pros and cons of living in and moving to San Antonio, Texas in 2024. And if you stay tuned till the end, you'll know exactly why San Antonio is the city for you or why it's not. If this is your first time on this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living and breathing, working, playing in San Antonio, Texas, then subscribe below and tap that bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about everything living in San Antonio, Texas. My name is Ray Meyer with the Waymaker Realty team in San Antonio, Texas, and we get calls and texts every day from people just like you. So whether you're looking to make a move in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information is in the description box below, and we look forward to helping you make a smooth transition to San Antonio, Texas. Now let's get into the video, and when I'm talking about 5 pros and 5 cons of living in San Antonio, Texas. So before we get into the video about the 5 pros and cons, I'm gonna let you know a little bit about my perception of San Antonio and where I come from, a little bit about my lifestyle so you know what my opinion is on San Antonio and how I see things. So real quick, just some context of my perception of San Antonio. This is gonna help you understand why I see things through this lens of mine, just because of my life and experience and my lifestyle with my family. I have a girlfriend and we are a young couple, and we like to eat out. We like to see new things. We're very much tourists here in San Antonio too, on the weekends or when we get free time to roam the city. I also have 2 kids that I have half the time that we love to take and do family events. We also are transplants from California, and my girlfriend's from Kansas. My background a little bit is I was in the military, so previously I was able to travel all over the United States and all over the country, also overseas and so on and so forth. So I'm very well traveled. I've been to a lot of cities and have been able to experience a lot in terms of knowing the ins and outs of the city and exploring. So if you have any relation to any of that in particular, the more the better. Just because that's a little bit of my background and how I see things. I'm very analytical when it comes to what's going on in the city, what things are there to do, and also what restaurants and places there are to go with the family. So let's get into the 5 pros and 5 cons of San Antonio, and I'm gonna start with the 5 pros first in no particular order, but then at the end, I'm going to go into the 5 cons, so make sure you stick around for those. Okay, so in no particular order, we have pro number 1, and that's things to do around San Antonio. There's a ton of things to do in San Antonio, and you're probably asking what? So for us, coming here, there was a lot of attractions. The city is about 1.5 million people, and the first thing that caught our eye is Fiesta Texas is gonna be a Six Flags, and it's a big theme park that's located right in a central area off the 1604 freeway and the 10 freeway, which is an intersection also by a lot of shopping. So shopping is one of the big things to do here too. And if you want to do that, La Cantera and the Rim is one that's basically in the same area across the freeway from La Cantera and Six Flags. That little area there is a big attraction for everybody, and things to do there's a plethora of them. So a lot of people like living, working, and playing in that particular area. Another shopping place that you can find and put on your radar is the North Star Mall. The North Star Mall is more so towards the center of San Antonio, where you'll find off the 410 freeway. And also, if you're driving on the 410, you'll see a big boot. Just know, a big cowboy boot. Just know that is the North Star Mall. You can exit and go do some shopping there. Some other things to do in San Antonio are sports. So we're big, obviously, for the San Antonio Spurs. The other thing that people might think is a downfall is gonna be that there's no major league baseball team and there's no professional football team, but we do have proximity to the Houston Texans, obviously, and then also Dallas is about 4 hours away with the Dallas Cowboys. The other entertainment things that we have here in terms of sports are gonna be the San Antonio Brahmas, which is a football league that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had put together. He's part owner in the San Antonio Brahmas, so they've been bringing that football team here and playing their games here in the heart of San Antonio. So you catch them. You can also catch professional soccer with the San Antonio Football Club, or San Antonio FC. They're part of the USL Soccer League. So just know there's a lot of soccer going on and a lot of culture in that soccer arena. Other things I haven't mentioned yet are a lot of family things to do. So I've already mentioned Six Flags Fiesta Texas, and we also have SeaWorld here. SeaWorld's a big attraction and it's on the west side of San Antonio, so a lot of people are going there. We also have Schlitterbahn, which is basically on the east side of San Antonio. It's in a small city called New Braunfels, which it's known for Schlitterbahn. It's a water park that families go to, especially during the hot months, and it's a big attraction for where to go and for people to come visit. Some other outdoor things that I can think of to put on this list is the Pearl. The Pearl is located downtown. It's called the Historic Pearl. And on the weekends, they have basically a farmer's market. So they have a lot of ranchers and farmers go out there, showcase their produce. There's a lot of open area for kids to play. A lot of those water fountains that come up from the ground that kids can go run around in their bathing suits and run around openly and freely. And there's a lot of people out there basically just relaxing, doing a picnic, walking around, walking their dogs, and interacting with everybody. So definitely check out the market at the Pearl. Okay, so this is wrapping up from things to do number 1, which we just left off on shopping in the North Star Mall with the boot. So outside of shopping, we do have a lot of outdoor activities. San Antonio has a lot of great hill country. That's a lot of what we're known for too, with some of those views. Throughout the hill country, you can find dog parks, trails, hiking trails. There's lakes nearby. There's also a lot of fishing that you can do. There is shooting ranges, indoor and outdoor, and the list goes on. There's also, to add on to the family things to do, I mentioned Fiesta Texas, the Six Flags theme park, amusement park. There's also SeaWorld. We also have a really great San Antonio zoo, and there's also another zoo type place that's also located in New Braunfels that people really like to go to, and in my personal opinion is better than the zoo. So stay tuned for another video that I might do just on comparing those two things. And lastly, I'll leave you with the Alamo. The Alamo is a big attraction. It's a part of history, and it's also why San Antonio is known as Alamo City. So make sure you visit the Alamo if you're in San Antonio. If you have nothing else to do, it's located downtown in the heart of San Antonio. Wrapping up things to do, there's always events going on, whether that's at the Frost Center, whether that's downtown. Fiesta is a big event that happens yearly, and it's located downtown in San Antonio. And also there's the San Antonio Rodeo that also happens once a year and is a big event. Pro number 2 of living in San Antonio is cost of living. Cost of living here is cheaper than other major cities in Texas. So if you compare San Antonio to Dallas, San Antonio to Houston, or even Austin, we are lower than cost of living on average in those other cities. And I'm gonna be breaking down another video that goes a little bit more in detail of what cost of living looks like. But just for the purpose of this video, to give you an idea, the average home price here in San Antonio is gonna be about $345,000 at the time of this video. And then average rent roughly is about $1,500 for a 2 to 3 bedroom apartment, depending on what side and what area of town you're looking at. Pro number 3 of living in San Antonio, Texas is gonna be the food scene. So me coming from California and also being in the military, I've been able to travel and really appreciate the food. When I was in the military, I missed back home a lot. I was on the East Coast and I really missed the Hispanic culture food. And I'm not even Hispanic, I'm Filipino. and my favorite food is Mexican food. So when I came to San Antonio looking for where's my next home and trying to figure out what I like about San Antonio, I really had to dive into where the food's at. So obviously we're in Texas, so there's a lot of barbecue places, which there's an endless supply of barbecue places that are top tier that you can go to. So on top of that, what I realized is the Hispanic culture here in San Antonio is very big. And the Tex-Mex that people talk about, it's this big thing between Texas, Hispanic food, Mexican food, and California. The Tex-Mex is actually really good. And I really enjoy trying the new spots here in the San Antonio area. The other good thing that I've realized about the food scene is that there's a lot of food trucks, but it's not just Mexican food or Tex-Mex, and it's not just barbecue. There's a lot of good Thai places, Vietnamese, there's Italian, which is also one of my favorites as well. There's a number of Brazilian steakhouses that I absolutely love trying out and eating there with friends and family. Just know you have a large, diverse food scene here in San Antonio. One that I mentioned that's also at the top of my list is Greek food. I found a lot of Greek places, so if you're looking for these places, leave a comment, shoot me a text, send me a DM or an email, and we can get you to your next best place. So if you're looking for a place that's culturally diverse and has a lot of food options, a lot of foodies and food scene and food trucks and things of that nature, San Antonio has that right here. Pro number 4 of living in San Antonio, Texas is that the economy is strong. What I mean by that is that we have a large military presence here in San Antonio. There's a number of bases by the Air Force, the Army, the Navy. We're all here. When you have large military duty stations where people report for active duty, they take their monthly paychecks and they boost the economy by going off base, working, living, and playing in the surrounding areas in San Antonio, Texas. There's also large companies here like USAA and Tesla also has corporate locations and also dealerships around the area, which is a good sign for innovation and also bringing other tech companies into the area that are also trickling down from Austin. There's also the theme parks that I had mentioned earlier in this video that also bring outside tourists into the area that spend their dollars traveling and also boosting our economy. Pro number 5 for living in San Antonio, Texas is gonna be proximity. Proximity is basically nearness. We're close to a lot of things in San Antonio where we can get there in a hop, skip, and a jump away, where the beaches are just a couple of hours away near Galveston. Houston is a 3-hour drive. Dallas is gonna be about 4 hours. Austin is gonna be about an hour north of San Antonio. We also have Fredericksburg, which is also wine country. I'm familiar with wine country coming from California. There's Napa Valley that I was close to, but also being here in Texas, I was always wondering, like, man, what kind of attractions do they have here when it comes to wine? And they actually have Fredericksburg, which is very much so like Napa. So just know there's a lot of proximity here. We also have the lakes that I mentioned for fishing and outdoor activities. There's also a lot of hospital and medical facilities in the local area. So if you're thinking about retiring, there's also hospitals nearby. And if you're also a military veteran, there's also veteran clinics throughout San Antonio with the large Audie Murphy Hospital in the heart of San Antonio. So rolling into the cons, there's a lot of great things about San Antonio, but here are a few cons as of today of what I believe are some things to look out for. So con number 1 is traffic. Traffic is different in every other city. In every major city, there's some sort of traffic, but here in San Antonio, I think there's a little bit more traffic than what we're all used to, just because there's a lot of construction going on at the major intersections around the 1604 loop and the 410, which is the inside loop. Just for your reference, you see me doing this loop here. San Antonio is basically a big circle, and they have a couple of freeways that run circles around San Antonio. The 1604 and the 10 freeway connect San Antonio and Bernie, and there's also a lot of overpasses that are being built so that people can get through those intersections a lot smoother. Another big intersection that's being built right now to smooth traffic out is actually the 35 and the 1604, which is also connecting San Antonio to Austin. While all of these new freeways and overpasses are under construction, it's a big headache to people traveling right now at the busy hours, peak hours during the days. Con number 2 is gonna be allergies. So before moving to San Antonio, Texas, I thought I would have an opportunity to get away from some allergies coming from California and living on the East Coast for a little while. My allergies always bothered me somewhat, and I always had to take an allergy pill, Claritin or Allegra or Zyrtec, just once in a while to calm my allergies down. I don't have any particular allergies, but when I came to San Antonio, I heard about cedar allergies and oak allergies. Now, I didn't know exactly if I was allergic, but come to find out, I do have a little bit of a reaction, and my allergies are a little bit worse coming into San Antonio and moving from out of state. So just know cedar allergies are a big thing. People talk about it all the time. They also have these drops at HEB that are particularly for cedar allergies and to basically relieve people of that. I take allergy pills now on the daily, like they're vitamins, and I also am trying to get my doctor to just issue me an allergy shot, which I've never had to get one before. The good part is they do have, the allergy shots to give, and I'm also able to take the medication for allergies so that I can withstand all of those symptoms and not be scratching my eyes and sneezing all the time. So just know the allergies are at another level here, and it's something you might want to look into and talk to your doctor about. Con number 3 is going to be the weather. Now, what I've noticed about weather living in several different states throughout my life so far is that every state, every city has random ADD weather. Every city believes that their city in particular has ADD weather. And so I've been coming from California, I'm a little bit biased, but it was also ADD weather and bipolar weather, if you will, in California. So coming to Texas from California, I knew that the weather there in California is drier, heat there. So coming here, I was prepared to get humidity, which that is one thing that is definitely a thing here is humidity. And then the heat is still at a high level, which I'm used to and I'm okay with. It does rain randomly, and what I have noticed is that it doesn't get too cold in the winters. There is, little small time frames of there being a freeze, and it's not even that cold. I don't like going outside if it's way too hot in the hundreds or if it's too cold. So I don't mind either extreme. I just know that's kind of a downfall for some people where they're looking for climate. As long as I'm not freezing like in New York or Chicago or Kansas, where my girlfriend's from, I don't mind the weather here. It could be a con for some people, but I did decide to put that on my list because it's not, Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. So con number 4 about living in San Antonio, Texas is the property taxes. The property taxes are something that surprised me here because they're substantially higher than they are in what I've seen living in California. So the property taxes here are higher due to the fact that Texas has no state income tax. So the way they make up for that is that they charge higher property taxes. Now, taxes actually fluctuate by neighborhoods. So if you're buying a home, make sure you contact someone like me or someone on our team that can tell you the exact property taxes in the communities and the neighborhoods that you're looking at. And if you're moving from out of state, don't get sticker shock on some of the property taxes. There are pockets of more affordable property taxes, and you just have to reach out to a smart realtor in order to get those numbers for you. But just know they're a little bit higher in Texas because there's no state income tax. So last but not least, con number 5 for this video is gonna be the airport size at San Antonio International Airport. So moving to San Antonio, what I realized that it wasn't a major airport. So what that means for people is that it might take you 2 flights to get here. So if I were to fly, for example, from Dallas, Dallas is a major airport. I can probably fly straight from Dallas to a lot of other locations without having to hop on a connecting flight. San Antonio is a little bit smaller, so there's less direct flights and destinations for people flying out of San Antonio and to San Antonio. And that could mean different prices and tickets. It could mean higher price tickets. It just depends. But just know you're probably hopping on a connecting flight, and it varies by which airline you're deciding to fly with. So that wraps up our pros and cons for living in San Antonio, Texas. And I thank you guys for watching this video all the way through. Hopefully you have a little bit more of an understanding of some of the benefits and some of the downfalls of living here in San Antonio. Maybe it was what you thought it was, or maybe it's a couple things surprised you. Just know overall, we love living in San Antonio and we love moving people to San Antonio. It's a great place to live, work, and play, and it's a great lifestyle choice if you're thinking about it. So if you're debating on making a move here and you've been watching our videos, feel free to reach out to us, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days. We'd love to help you make a smooth transition to San Antonio, and we'll see you on our next video. Stay tuned.